Hello there, and welcome to a new episode of The Power of Surrender with Hugh, where every day we take a card from this deck, The Power of Surrender by Dr Judith Orloff, and I chat with you about it to give you some food for thought and hopefully some inspiration for these challenging times we're living in. And this card today is Surrender Fear. And I was just reading there a minute ago that looks like that we're going down into a second lockdown here in England this week, which is very disappointing, very frustrating for a month apparently. And you know, there was so much. The reason I started making all these type of shows here on IGTV and on YouTube was because people are just feeling so much fear and anxiety, and there's so much uncertainty because of what's happening with these lockdowns. And so it's an appropriate card that will be coming up today, and it says, let go of the heart of the fearful stories you are telling yourself. So let go of the fearful stories you're telling yourself. Stay in the moment, focus on solutions, and celebrate every baby step forward. This is really, really powerful advice. And it's important because, you know, if people are feeling fearful and apprehensive, you know, if you have a disposition where you tend to be kind of chill and cool in stressful situations, that's great. But if you don't, and if you suffer from anxiety and you're a worrier, it's very difficult to get from the point of feeling fearful to moving forward and being able to leave that to one side. So I'm going to go through in stages is what I'd say there, because this is literally the stages that it's telling you to take. Let go of fearful stories you are telling yourself. So that can be a challenging one, but basically, like if you're saying, oh my God, what's going to happen? We're never going to have our freedom again. We're going to be locked down forever. Whatever, you know, negative stories that people are running to, which I guess sometimes you can understand how a person will come to those conclusions because there really is so much uncertainty about this and what's going on. But in letting go of those stories, and basically saying, look, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. There are things here, forces out of my control. The likelihood is, in order for our society to continue to move as it has been doing for many years, we're going to have to go back to, the businesses are going to have to reopen. They're going to have to find a way to deal with not just this virus, but future viruses as well. We can't be shutting down the entire society every time something like this happens. It's just not practical. I can't even imagine the amount of money that the governments are in debt for the money they've been giving out to help people getting through this. So giving up those stories is the first stage. What you're saying is, you know what, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to try and be more open to more hopeful stories, and anytime I feel those fearful stories coming up, I'm just going to put them to one side and say, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, so let me be just open to a more positive outcome. So that's the first step, to be able to try and put those fear stories to one side. I know that that's challenging, but that is the first step. Now once you get past that, it says stay in the moment. Now this is, you know, you hear people say things all the time like, you know, just be, and just be in the moment, and a variety of different other expressions like that. This is so important because basically what you're doing is, if you think about it, you're surrendering control or worry, trying to control or worrying about the future. And you're literally, so if you first abandoned your fear stories and put them to one side, now you're in a position where, you know, I'm just going to appreciate the moment. What are the things that I have to be appreciative of in my life right now? Let's just focus on those things that are positive. And just be in the moment right now. Don't be stressing about what's happening next week or tomorrow. Just be right in this moment right now and appreciating what you do have. You can see how this literally is one step after the other, because you let go of the stories, then you surrender to be in the moment. That's the second step. And the third step, as it says here, focus on solutions and celebrate every baby step forward. So again, this is what I was implying by letting go of the fear stories, is that it's getting you to a position now, if you're going to appreciate the moment, we can start focusing on solutions. So you may not be able to help the whole world or the whole country, but what you can do is go, what can I do to be better prepared for what may or may not be going to happen in the next couple of weeks or months? Thinking about solutions, trying to use your imagination in a positive way. Get creative. All of us have different situations. Some of us are going to be stuck in a house with family. Some of us like myself, I'm going to be here by myself. So it's going to be challenging for all of us in different ways. But the thing about it is to look at it in terms of, okay, so for example, when I think about this, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? You know, I need to finish my website. I've got to, finish my book. So I'm going to take this time where we're going to be shut down, can't really go out and do that many things. And I'm going to be spending more time focusing on those type of things, making more video content like I am doing here right now. Because otherwise, because if I start thinking about I'm not auditioning, I'm not doing what I counted on to do, which is to act and to start working in television and film. Because if I start thinking about that, I'm going to start getting upset because there are things that I can't control right now. They're out of my control. But what I can do is I can make videos. What I can do is I can fix my website. What I can do, see what I'm saying? So we're focusing on solutions and getting prepared for when this will eventually pass. And it will, I've no doubt about it. This life cannot continue like this. All of these businesses would shut down. Society would simply fall apart, and that's not in anyone's interest for that to happen. So they're going to have to find a solution, whatever that is. And so the final thing that it says in here is to celebrate baby steps forward. Now, this goes back to something I was talking about in the live video I was doing last night on YouTube, on Facebook. My acting teacher used to talk all the time about celebrate all your wins along the way. It's very important, even if it's a minor victory. Oh, I booked a commercial. It may not be paying the most money in the world, but I'm booking now. I'm going into the room and I'm being successful in my auditions and I'm booking. Go buy yourself an ice cream. Go and get a coffee and lunch somewhere that you wouldn't normally go. Hang out with some friends who are good to celebrate with. And each step along the way, taking the time to celebrate that, because this is one of the things that I know a lot of people struggle to hear when you hear something like, oh, it's all about the journey, not the destination. That's really hard for most people to wrap their brain around. But what I really love about that, and I've come to understand about it, is that the journey along the way, we'll look back at when we get to our destination. It's how we got there, the journey there, that we will celebrate, that we will talk about. And so when we're in the middle of it, it doesn't feel like something we'll be celebrating one day, because it's the struggles too. But by taking time to enjoy the journey and appreciate it along the way, it gets us in a better frame of mind, allows things to flow better. So it's a really simple, straightforward plan to help with fear. And I hope you'll be inspired and get food for thought for this. Again, number one, it says, let go of fearful stories that you're telling yourself. Okay, because we start to get in our head, oh, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? And we overthink things and we start Googling things, and just stop. It just doesn't help you. Especially if you're stressed out already and it's just adding to your stress. There's a time to Google and search things, but not when it comes to fear. Okay, stay in the moment. That's the next thing. So you're just focus on what you're doing right now. And this is where meditation, going to the park, there's various things you can do to just help yourself stay in the moment. And then it goes on to say, as we've already said, focus on solutions and then celebrate baby steps forward. So there's a simple, almost 4-step plan to try and deal with the anxiety and the pressures and the fears and the different things that are coming up because of this unusual time that we're living in. I know that some of those things, it's easy to say them, it's a different thing to go through them and fix them, but it's baby steps, and celebrating those baby steps along the way as we go. I hope you got some food for thought and inspiration from this card. It's definitely a lot to talk about on there, and I will be back tomorrow with another episode.